On this video, I want to talk about how to build your network intentionally. And it comes from a seldom asked question, which is, what do the people I serve need to hear from me to get value? So if we're meeting for the first time, I'm Lucy. I help female business builders to expand their team and grow their online skills. This is a question that wouldn't have entered my mind when I first got started in network marketing. It was very much I was hearing, speak to everybody, speak to as many people as you can, speak to 10 people a day, get your numbers up. Some will, some won't. So what? Next. Does any of that sound familiar to you? But things have changed. Things are so much different now. And if that's something that you haven't thought about, what do your audience need to hear from you to get that value? Then it's something that I'm going to give 3 tips on in this video. So if that sounds like something that's of interest to you, do hang around. So yeah, as I say, for me, it was about getting the numbers in, talking to the people, as many as I could. Everybody that I could come into contact with was a potential person for my business. And now it's totally different. So looking at the things that you can do with your new member, if they ask you that question, it's like, well, here we go. We've got to have some kind of a strategy to make this work. So the first thing I would say to do is I would ask them the 3 questions. So the first question I would ask here is, define for me the people that you're serving. Can they do that? Can my member define for me the people that they're serving? And if they can't, they need to go away and really work on that first until they can come back again and tell you. Then you go to the next question with, now that you've defined the people that you want to talk to, what is it that they are struggling with? What is it that they dream about? What is it that they are going to get that information that they're looking for because of the information that you're giving? So it's like, can you read their mind? Now, if you've defined the audience, then you're much more likely to understand what their struggles are, what their pain points are. And so to be able to touch on those is going to be much easier. And then the third thing is, how does that relate to you? So does that, if somebody came to me and they were a networker and they're talking to everybody and nobody seems to be interested, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that and I'm doing everything my upline tells me to do, I would ask them, first of all, do they know? Have they defined their audience? And if they haven't, I would totally understand, because I didn't do that in the beginning, right? So I can align with where they're at. So share the story of you. Share your journey. Share your insights. Share your aha moments, because that really helps you to connect with people. It will help you to connect with your member, but also when your member does that to their audience, it'll really help with the connection. So you notice that I started with my story in the beginning, going out and talking to everybody, giving out flyers, giving out my business card to whomever. I didn't know what their situation was. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they wanted. It was just like leaving a paper trail along the way and hoping that somebody would go, yes, this is the person I need to talk to. But I hadn't built a relationship with them. I didn't know them. Most of the time I didn't know them, and I was never going to see them again. So in one way, possibly that would work, as well as defining your audience. So it's not about throwing everything out that perhaps that person is doing, but when you can get really clear on who you're serving and what they need to hear from you, the value that you can give is immense. But always come back to your story. So with building your network intentionally, know your audience. Once you know your audience, understand your audience. once you understand your audience, how does that relate to you and your story? And share that part of your story. And when that comes across in a really authentic way, which it will because it's your story, right? And you can be a bit vulnerable. You know, I didn't build hugely because of the way that I was working. I did build, absolutely. I got people in, and I learnt to refine things so that I would work in like a couple of areas where it was really happening. And I'd be getting like 10, 12 new customers every single month. I was getting 2 to 3 new members a month. But if I had been able to define that audience really in other areas, I would have gone so much faster. So I hope this helps and answers that seldom asked question. And if you got value from this, do let me know. There are other seldom asked questions in this series and frequently asked questions as well that I answer. So do listen into those, and I wish you an absolutely awesome day.